One of the tools that can be useful to present a business and from that presentation build ideas, imagine future alliances and even identify points for improvement is an actor map. An actor map is a visual description of the organizations and individuals who are key to a system, including both those affected by the system, and those whose actions affect the system. It can be very useful when we want to visualize a context and we need to identify the relevant actors around the subject matter we have chosen. It allows us to map and visualize very clearly that network itself and what actors make it up. Actor maps are often called stakeholder maps. However, because there might be important actors, such as a public administration that is not always part of the initiative but does influence and affect this context somehow, we'd rather use the term actor map, because we think it is more inclusive and general. The first step of the mapping process would be to identify the subject matter of the map and establish limits around that subject matter. How specific that map is will depend on different factors, such as for example the geographical dimension. It will very much depend on whether we talk about a subject matter we want to cover locally or if we are talking about a regional level, or even at national level. On the other hand, it will also depend on the level of detail we want for that map. If we talk about an actor map that is more generic, we'll talk about schools in general, government agencies, service providers. However, if we want to add greater detail, we'll specify that organization, that individual or that specific initiative. Secondly, we'll try to establish a system framework, a more or less organized structure, though flexible, to build that actor map. What we'll do will be to sort the actors at different levels according to their proximity, their relationship or their connection with the core of the business. To do so, we'll draw different orbits that will talk about the proximity of each of those actors to that core. The first level would be the core, that would talk about those essential and fundamental actors, to set in motion that initiative, carry out that service or develop that specific business. At the second level, we'd talk about direct actors. If we dealt with a business, we could talk about suppliers, users, customers, key allies for the communication part. It very much depends on whether we talk about a more generic actor map or about something more specific. But in this second level, that orbit would refer to those who are in direct and close contact with the key actors of the core. The third level would talk about indirect actors that somehow influence or are affected by the actions that take place at the first and second levels. In this most external orbit, we have left some space for what we call new actors. Like we said earlier, the exercise can help us to devise, to imagine what their future alliances might be. Therefore, in that new orbit, we'd leave some space to imagine those alliances, even to indicate or name actors that although not very directly could be able to influence our activity in a more subtle and not so direct way. But, well, that we also must take into account. Before starting to locate the actors on the map, we'd recommend listing them by group. This way, we'll have a previous list of the actors and we'll be able to group them more orderly when visualizing them on the map. Once we know clearly who the actors are, we can start to map them within the tool. As we have said, we'll also maintain at all times that order of proximity. We can leverage other codes, such as shapes or color codes to refer to those allies that we're especially interested in, those who come into play in a specific way. We can create our own categories and variables and also use the resource of color and shape to add information to that map.